So for me right now, no Spurs player is an option for me, purely because I don't trust that locker room. Bit like right now, I don't trust Manchester United's locker room. I feel like there's too much negativity around there, and I feel like the tactics aren't right, and I feel like the managers are still trying to find out the solution to some deep underlying issues at both Spurs and Man United. Yes, Man United had a great performance against Liverpool, but that's one great performance against big rivals for them, and I need to see that more consistently at United. At Spurs, I just feel like that team is getting stale. It's been too similar for too long, and I think the drive that some of the players had when Poch first joined to prove themselves has disappeared. It's full of players that have been at the club for a considerable amount of time. If you pick the players that you probably consider the best starting 11, the majority have been at the club for most of Poch's tenure. You've got Hugo Lloris, you've got Danny Rose, you've got Vertonghen, you've got Alderweireld, you've got Dyer, you've got Lamela, you've got Dele Alli, you've got Eriksen, you've got Son, you've got Kane. All of them, as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong with a couple of them, have been there for pretty much the whole of Poch's time as manager. Meanwhile, the clubs that are doing well in the Premier League right now, if you look at Chelsea, if you look at Leicester, if you look at Liverpool, if you look at Man City, their sides look very, very different compared to what Poch's side looked like when he started. You've got Liverpool bringing the likes of Mane, Salah, VVD, Fabinho, Alisson, Trent coming into the side, Robertson. How long has Robertson been there? I feel like Robertson came at some point early in Poch's tenure. If you go Man City, you've got the likes of Mahrez, you've got the likes of Laporte, you've got the likes of Ederson, Mendy, you've got Rodri, you've got lots of players, although of course I would argue that the players that are at Man City that were there before Poch have integrated themselves well into that unit. But I suppose you could say they were refreshed by a new manager. Again, Spurs haven't changed their manager in that same period. If you look at Chelsea, they've been forced into changing their side, and Chelsea have been very up and down. Good season, bad season, good season, bad season. But they've changed their manager a lot, and they brought in players quite regularly, and now they've brought in a lot of youngsters. So again, the team is refreshed, and all the players have something to prove. Club legends is a thing of the past. You don't really get club legends like you did back in the day of Manchester United with Sir Alex Ferguson. So I feel like a lot of those players are getting complacent and their dreams and aspirations are elsewhere, which means they are not doing the running that Poch requires them to do. And another factor for them not doing the running that Poch and his pressing system, or what he brought in with his pressing system, because they press a lot less now, needs for that pressing system to work is age. These players are a lot older than they were when they started. Kane is now 26. Son is now over 26. Sorry, I should have said Kane's over 26 or 26 and over. Son is 26 and over. Eriksen, Moura, all these players are getting into their late 20s. You've got Sissoko, Alderweireld and Vertonghen all over 30. This isn't the young side that it was when Poch first came in. I'm not suggesting they don't have what it takes to be elite players still, just saying they don't have the legs that Poch's initial system that he brought to Spurs requires, which has been able to run for 90 minutes, cover more ground than the opponents, and they're just not doing that. They've struggled to match numbers of other sides that they're facing in kilometres run, and because they're not now committing to that style, they've changed the tactics, and it just isn't benefiting the players, and the players aren't as driven. You just have to look at who's wanted to leave. Eriksen, Rose, Alderweireld have all suggested or tried to get a move away from the club. Vertonghen's contract is running out at the end of this season. So the only player I'm really interested in is potentially Heung-min Son, because he still looks like the type of player that will give it his all no matter what. But I just cannot trust that Spurs side. The fact that they've got one of the worst away records in the league right now, for a side where you'll be spending quite a bit on some of their players, I just can't suggest going for Spurs until this ship turns around. I would stay well clear of Spurs. And now that I've said that, you're probably going to see them do extremely well in the next game week. But that is my thought, anyway, on Spurs. Brian Yule, I would agree a lot of Spurs seem to be playing out their contracts. I feel like Poch would have wanted to refresh his side a lot as well and bring in youngsters. I just don't think he was allowed to because Levy was trying to, in all fairness, make the club very stable. They've now got great training facilities, a great stadium, and budget-wise, they're making profit. So the club's financial health is amazing. But I feel like that has hurt how well they can do this season.
I said I got this, none of this radio pop shit. I dropped this, turning back the clock to rock shit. I cop it, said knock knock, I'm on this. I'm hot bitch, like a hot bitch, it's not I'm locked in, I got this, radio drop this. Hot shit, just watch this, I fucking promise.